Hi, it's Hugh Morgan, and I'm here again with another Quick Intelligence technical briefing. With me, I have Candace Ramirez. Candace, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Candace Ramirez. I'm a systems engineer here in Toronto with Pure Storage locally. I've been with the organization for just under a year now. Looking forward to how we're growing in Canada and really excited as we gain momentum and market share.
Great. So today what we're talking about is cloud storage, migrating a legacy system from normal type of data center into the cloud, and how Pure Storage has a solution that helps you do that.
Yeah, hybrid cloud is a really tricky implementation to move forward with. The best analogy that I like to use is smart speakers. How easy is it to play your iTunes on your Amazon Echo? Or how easy is it to try and get Google Play to work with Apple TV or something to that effect? These larger scale organization and public cloud providers are the same ones that are giving us our smart speakers. And have a vested interest in making it a little bit trickier when it comes to the nitty-gritty on exactly what it is when you want to see uniformity and the ability to move seamlessly in and out of multiple cloud providers as well as on-premise.
So that's because they want to keep you in their cloud environment, so
For
they
sure.
don't want to make it easy to move between them.
Exactly.
Which also makes it difficult to migrate initially.
Exactly, and traditional on-premises vendors really, for the most part, fall into the same structure as well.
They wanna
There's some
keep you on-prem.
protection for keeping on-premises.
Right.
Okay.
So what's awkward about it then? So if I've got a typical legacy application, let's say not too old, not a mainframe, but let's say it's a typical kind of VMware type application. What makes it so difficult to migrate it into Amazon or Azure?
Traditional on-premises environments are entirely block-based or potentially file-based. They have typically tiered applications, not necessarily full web scale, whereas in the cloud, you've got a different orchestration model, you've got different storage types, so predominantly coded based on objects. So what you end up with is applications and developers that have to do completely different code sets or completely different implementations.
So there's no such thing as just porting your application over and miraculously
the
it works.
uniformity. There are some tool sets that you can leverage to gain some uniformity in that way, but it takes some learning curve. The simplicity and the efficiency really isn't there at this point.
Right. Okay. So what is the desired future state then? What if I was a typical CIO? I've got my legacy application. What would I really want to do if I had a magic wand?
You want to see a uniform development model between the two, so the ability to code and access storage calls in the same manner, whether you're on premises, whether you're in cloud. You want to see uniform orchestration capability, so whatever management tool sets or automation you're moving towards, you want to see that uniform between your on-premises and cloud infrastructure. You want to see the full API capability, so you want to be able to call storage with the same APIs, whether you're on premises, whether you're in multiple different clouds. That uniformity gains an enormous time to market advantage when it comes to developing and delivering on applications.
So it allows you to take advantage of the economics of the situation. So if one cloud vendor suddenly becomes cheaper than another, you can port your application over, or if suddenly for some reason, security or otherwise, you want to port it back in-house, you can do that as well.
Exactly, and then skill sets and resources as well, like to be able to manage internally with a similar set of skill sets for your entire teams, whether they're managing or responsible for the legacy applications, or whether or not they're responsible for the more web scale, cloud native applications is an enormous resource efficiency.
So now we know why and what the future state looks like. Let's get you up to the whiteboard, and we'll chat a little bit about Pure Storage and how you have a solution for this kind of environment. So what we've done now is that we've switched positions, and I've sent Candace up to the whiteboard. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Pure Storage solution for hybrid cloud. Candace, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. Effectively, we've come up with various different options for our customers, all of them incredibly high performing, all of them achieving very high levels of data durability, and all of them really garnering towards and moving towards a direction of actually unifying the cloud experience for organizations. The first one I want to talk about is our cloud block store offering. And what that actually is Pure Storage as an organization created and founded based on a lot of innovation. And our initial offerings were our traditional on-premises block storage product. And with that, we run a software-defined storage. And that software is actually called Purity. And so what Cloud Block Store actually is it's the very same high efficiency, high performance, high reliability software that gives us great data reduction for cloud providers. So in this instance, at the moment, we're talking about AWS. And so effectively what it allows is the very same storage platform that you have on your on-premises Pure Storage with the very same software and architecture within AWS.
With the same API that you're
Same
normally
APIs, it's literally the exact same software that you would deploy in something like an S3 instance with various front ends for compute to allow it to run. But otherwise, what we offer is no additional charge to do that. So we do all of this within a completely cost-neutral model. So something like the ability to gain data reduction in the cloud is a very brand new thing, a very innovative thing that we have allowed for organizations to do. And in doing so, we have also allowed data reduction for things like egress and ingress networking.
Which is a huge cost. I mean, for those who have never implemented anything in the cloud, the worst thing is to have a foot on the boat and a foot on the dock and have data traveling between both your in-house and your cloud solution. It kills you cost-wise.
Yeah, so this environment can be completely aware of all of your on-premises footprint, and we would send from a movement and data movement perspective, reduced and change data only for the efficiencies in networking. The second offering that we have just announced is our product called Object Engine. And this is really exciting. Traditionally, when you think of object storage and even file storage in general, the ability to reduce that data or the ability to deduplicate that data has not existed. So we have actually released a product that is coming up with that, the ability to do data deduplication on object storage. And not only have we done that, we actually put it on steroids. So what we said is we actually do it in a geographically dispersed model within a single namespace. So for those of you who are not aware, what that means is you can have some AWS footprint, you can have some on-premises footprint in one data center, and you can have an on-premises footprint in your other data center, and we would do a deduplication for all three of them in one single namespace. So they are entirely aware of what data resides where, and making sure that you are never sending data at all, really, unless it's entirely unique. With a model like that, it just blows open the doors on the flexibility of what you can do for your movement between your on-premises and your cloud
So
environment.
it allows you to design high availability, it allows you to do disaster recovery, helps you with solutions like, well, again, choosing the least cost place to run.
Exactly. And in addition to that, because it is so high performing, because it does meet and exceed a level of throughput demand, we then actually can take that and accelerate the ability to restore. And what I mean by that is we can predictively tell you how quickly or how effectively you can restore your data. So up until now, when you think of backup and restore, a lot of the calculations are how quickly can I get my backups completed? But that's not what backups are for. Backups are for when you need them,
Right.
which requires
It
restore.
always takes a lot more to restore it. Find what you want and restore it.
And so the ability to find organizations that allow you to say, okay, so I have 75 terabytes, how many hours is it going to take me to restore that entire 75 terabyte footprint?
Yeah.
You
Until
look
you
around.
do it,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It's a well, try it and see. With us, it's just math. We have a throughput level that we know is efficient and effective, and so therefore we can say, well, for that 75 terabytes, it's probably going to take you about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's all within a mathematical prediction. And we do that again in a deduplicated single namespace format. So incredibly powerful for organizations. We just announced this in February.
Great. And the third?
So the third is what we call our CloudSnap product. And basically what that is if you aren't necessarily comfortable with the full Purity operating system, or the smaller footprint really didn't justify something like an object engine, CloudSnap is just that. It's the ability to take a snapshot that you have on premise and actually offloading it to another target. And we call them portable because we actually include the full metadata footprint. So you can protect that by offloading to, let's say, an NFS target, or you can do it directly into an S3 bucket if you wanted to. And then again, restore that either on premises or in cloud, depending on what architecture you're running from. So the ability to really gain some agnosticism in a way from your infrastructure by just snapping it out to whichever protocol is best suited for your organization.
Okay, well, that was great, Candace. Thank you very much for the whiteboard chat. And now I guess the next question, the logical question is, if you're a CIO and you're interested in this, what are the first steps to get this underway? You're sitting there with your disks, in your legacy environment and everything. How do you what's the first step to get to the cloud, get to a hybrid environment?
Understanding your landscape, understanding your footprint, working through what migration onto a Pure Storage, how simplistic that would be.
So the first step is to get on your legacy environment on a Pure Storage array in-house first.
Correct,
to
yes.
make all this possible.
Yeah, so all of the licensing associated with things like CloudSnap, Cloud Block Store are included within your storage array.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an all-inclusive licensing model, so no matter what feature sets, whether it's replication, Snap, cloud capability, all of those things are included within your array at all times.
And then once you're set up with a Pure Storage environment in your data center, everything becomes possible at that point. You choose your cloud provider, you install the Pure Storage software on the cloud provider, and away you go, you're off to the races.
Yeah, we like to call that unlocking cloud.
Right. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Candace. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you.